Just wanted to put this out there just before we begin or dive in our episode.
Shari, I have a question for you. When
Mm.
was your first encounter into like sex work?
Was my first experience. I was with, of course, my usual people, Mariella and Jess. We were probably 16. And then I don't know, it was probably Marielle, I'm sure. She was like, let's go to a strip club. None of us knew how to drive. Because again, you were 16. I didn't even have my driver's license or student's permit. But of course, I drove. I drove us because we were like, let's see Russian strippers. So I drove us to Divino. I probably
Russian
counterfilled
strippers.
once, found my way there, and I distinctly remember I had a favorite stripper, Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle,
Yeah.
the Russian stripper, and she had like the best
First
experience.
experiment.
But I felt like I was some sort of sex worker. Like I remember
Yeah.
my sister had a friend that she matched with somebody on Bumble, and this guy had like a foot fetish. Sister, she was like, my feet are so ugly, like I can't send a picture. And then I think my sister didn't have the best feet at that time either, so she was like, Shari, you have nice feet. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you do
yes, I
have
do.
nice feet.
So she was like, can I take a picture of your feet and then can I send it to my friend? And I'm like, okay. So I had to like pose with my feet, and then the guy was like, "Oh, you have great feet, but is it really your feet?" So I had to do like pose with your left thumb with your right foot, blah, blah. So I had to do like specific poses just so that
Yeah.
my sister's friend actually gets the dick pic she wanted. So eventually it worked out. We got the dick pic. I need to know about your sex work experience because I know it had something to do with your eye. It's one of my
Okay,
favorite
okay. As a couple girls went to Thailand to explore and just lose our minds. So we went to Bangkok, and of course we went to the ping pong show. And there's one time my friend Penny and I decided we would play ping pong as requested by the
Yes. Okay.
performers.
To be clear, you're gonna play ping pong with a vagina. Vagina shooting out
Yes,
ping pong
yes.
ball.
So we play, and Penny accidentally hits the ping pong, and it goes straight to my eye. Of course, it was wet, and to me, like I just sat down. I didn't want to be rude or anything, or just like wash my eye. I just sat down, finished the show, and then I went to the bathroom after I clapped and washed my eye. But I
You
am,
know,
yeah.
you're very polite, Bea. But Salome, we always like starting with a little icebreaker. So
Mhm.
our first icebreaker here is: what was your first sexual awakening from a film or from a TV show?
Mine's pretty basic. It was Titanic. Like I just love the idea of being drawn, I don't know, naked like Kate Winslet, or Cruel Intentions is pretty good as one of the
Mm.
first
Mhm.
like really oh, it can be like not missionary. It can be like complicated and all that. Yeah. So there.
When I saw Interview with the Vampire, like
Oh
on
yes,
TV.
that was
Yeah,
good.
like
That
that
was
was so
good.
hard because it had like Tom Cruise, it had Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, and I'm like, oh, there's so much eye candy here. Like this is inciting in me like a feeling that I've never felt before. Is this what you call horny? Maybe it is. Like, but I was there's an element of like self insertion where there's like a Kirsten Dunst character who was like my age, and she was just like being surrounded and doted on by these like gorgeous men, and I'm like, I want that film, you know?
And there were some very homoerotic parts about it, actually.
Yes,
Too. Like
yes.
looking back, it was
Uh-huh.
essential. Okay, I think my first memory though of a sex scene that marked in my head was also Titanic. But the first scene that I was like, oh my god, I want that. You know, when you're like,
Mhm.
sometimes you just see sex scenes, and you're like, okay, it's sex scene, I can't watch this. But the first one that I was like, okay, I want to do that was the parachute hanger scene in Pearl Harbor when Kate Beckinsale and
That was
Josh Hartnett
there.
were running through the parachute, and then like she pulls him down by the dog tag, and they're just lying in this white sheet. And I was like, oh my god, kilig. I was like, I was like, I want that.
Kilig or ano? Ano bang horny sa
More
Tagalog?
uh,
Libog.
yun.
Libog.
So Salome, what would your porn name be? Do you remember the
Yeah. Is
formula?
it
Your first pet and the first street you lived in. That would be your porn name. So what's your porn name?
Oh shit. Yeah, like I remember it being really cool because like the street that I grew up in is like it's the name of a saint, like parang Santa Monica or something like that. So it was like Bo Santa Monica or something like that. I was kind of, it's
both?
kind of hard. Like,
I,
it
I,
was
ca-
kind
I,
of a
Yeah.
ca-
fun name though.
Bo Santa Monica. Ikaw, Bea, what's
Go Santa
your
Monica.
porn name?
I think it was like Isabella Ifugao, but I don't remember. I don't remember. I had a
That's
lovebird.
hot.
Yeah, I think mine initially was supposed to be Paris Firefly. Then I realized I had a pet chicken. Chicken. So my porn name apparently is Chickadee Firefly.
That is
Maybe
good.
that
That is
that
good.
actually sounds like a very good porn name, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
Chickadee
Mm.
Firefly, guys.
yeah,
Bea,
Instead, I
we can
worked as a
be a
barista or a
team. Bea,
waitress.
I love it. You can be the voice. I can be the foot. We'll be great.
Perfect. And Salome
okay,
can
I'd be
be
the face.
our
Yeah,
You know,
producer.
I could
Salome
be
can
the
be the
face.
face.
You could be the
I'm the
foot.
foot. We're like the perfect team. We're the perfect.
Combine it to one person. Perfect.
Plus,
But
you know,
since we're here now in this subject, what's the
yeah.
weirdest that you got? Like, what's the
Weirdest.
weirdest
Yeah.
fetish or weirdest request that you've received?
I've gotten a request for me to shit in a box and then mail the box to the person who wants to smell and eat my shit. Like that is, I'm like, okay, like I consider myself a very open-minded person. I don't judge you for that, but I would like to not participate in that. You know, that seems
Yeah.
very dangerous, and you know
Yes.
that is not aligned with my brand. That is not aligned with the stuff that I
Yeah.
do. So, no, thank you, but good luck.
Salome, we want to start out with like the beginning of your career. Like, how did you get started, and what was the first paid job that you got?
Is like 2017 lang. 2017 ko lang kasi na-discover yung part of myself that hey, I like taking pictures of myself and I like posting it on the internet. Like I like sending it to different guys. Like that all happened in 2017. And I guess like my first paid job would be like posing nude for artists who would draw you know like for students or professional artists, but you know like I would model for live drawing sessions. So that's not exactly sex work, but I know a lot of like erotic models who are working the same way that I am. They got their start there too.
Helen,
So
I have a question. You mentioned before that
sure.
there are different kinds of sex work. So
Uh-huh.
what category do you consider that you fall under?
Mm.
I do a lot of sex work as long as it's in the virtual realm, you know, like
Mm.
so like with virtual sex work you can still like kind of divide it into different categories. Like there are some people who do the camming where they you know like where they show themselves live and play with themselves live in front of a whole in front of an audience, like
Salome,
so
I have a
yeah.
question. When you talk about kink, and then you talked about a while ago that you love, you're an exhibitionist. You love art. Is there
Yes.
something like when you were younger, like your childhood, that kind of um you've always
Hmm.
had that? Is there
Like
something that
woke it up
pushed
in
you
you.
to grow? Yeah, yeah.
That's so interesting. I never really thought about that, but I would say that you know, like growing up, I was never really like a popular kid. You know, like I was never really thought of as like, hey, she's such a cute kid. She's like, like I was never, I never got attention for my looks. I got the attention of my boyfriend, who the person who was gonna be my boyfriend for the next 5 years. Like I really thought that I was gonna die alone and a virgin. You know, like.
Yeah.
You know, he was
We
one of the
all
very
thought
first people.
that.
Like,
We
yeah,
all
like
think that. I have one question about nudes. What is the
yeah,
the
sure.
perfect recipe into sending the perfect nude?
Let's see, like, let me try and see if I can demonstrate it.
Perfect.
Okay,
We need
so I turned off my
that.
professional lighting setup, right? I turned off my ring light, and the light
Yeah,
is coming from there. So you
yeah.
gotta the light is coming from up there, and usually if the light source is coming from above, that and it's directly hitting your face, it makes you look kind of old. So it
Yeah.
kind of highlights your eye bags, kind of highlights here. But if you like take your camera and lay down like that, facing the
Okay.
light, like the light is like flat across your face, and it kind of like makes all of the lines disappear. So
Face the light.
Oh,
that's it.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Just go
Always
back.
face the light
Come up.
source.
Okay.
Face the light and cover the double chin.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. That's
Noted.
that's actually a
And
really nice trick. Like if you
It's a
and
science. Like they
can I
said,
just
it's a science.
can we just tell everyone, also men, please put some effort in. This is like women care about
Yeah,
the stuff.
please.
Men, you just
Like,
like
You just send a dick pic like it's like nothing, no lighting, no nothing. Women take pride in the nude
and the
photo
art
they
of
take.
it.
Okay, so what are the things that you love and that you hate about your not the one hate but dislike about your profession now?
well, it like obviously like it's a very stigmatized profession.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we, like we offer sexual services in exchange, they think that A, we give them for free,
Mm,
and B, that we entertain everyone and we don't screen our customers. And
yeah.
C, they think that they can harass us. So that is like that takes a really, really big toll on, like my mental health. Like
Showing nudes. I had no idea. I thought it was
That's
all
yeah,
like,
allowed. I thought it wasn't
yeah,
allowed.
it
We
is.
yeah.
It is the only platform, the only mainstream social media platform that allows porn. That's why all of the sex workers are there,
I had
posting
no
our nudes and
idea.
everything. Because
and influence more people. So we do have a couple of questions for
Yeah,
you.
let's
This one I know the answer to this, but this is do you do it with anyone on your OnlyFans? The answer is
no,
no. So you're
I'm
sorry,
really,
sorry,
silent.
I'm
Kai.
like really sad about that though. Like it's, oh my god, like you
Sorry,
you have
Kyle.
no idea like how hard it's been for me to like actually find someone who is willing to do it with me for work. And, because obviously it's not hard for me to like find people to have casual sex with. But but when I bring up that question, it's like, hey, like I kind of do this for a living. If you want to participate, like I'll pay you for your work. Let's go over some paperwork, and like let's just do this. Like let's make some boy girl porn. A lot of them back out because my decision to go into mainstream porn and hopefully eventually work with other partners, like I've already made that
we're
decision. And
we're rooting for you.
We are
We
rooting for
want you
you.
in the
Like
what is the biggest porn award show? There's a big one. I can't remember.
yeah.
AVN,
What is
the
it?
Oh,
AVN, the Adult Video
I am
Network Awards.
I
I
am
am
rooting
gonna
that you're gonna
do
be
the
there, girl.
secret for you. This is
Yes.
a good one. How did you tell your friends and family about your decision to go into this
Mm.
sector?
Well, with my family, like I was outed. I was like I didn't tell them on my own time.
Mm-mm.
I I didn't consent to them knowing about it.
Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the core of this. Okay.
Yeah.
So Salome, um, we do want to impart wisdom to people, and
Yeah.
um, somebody you have to overcome a few obstacles to be quite, like you said before, your mother kind of shed some light on why you shouldn't feel sexy or why you shouldn't feel as beautiful as you are, and that's a struggle of a lot of women or even
Yeah.
men actually, body insecurities and whatever. And for you to actually expose yourself and to people, you have to have had to overcome that, right? So what's your advice to people on how they could love their body, feel sexier, or and explore
Yeah.
themselves in that way?
Not just look down on themselves. Like
Mm.
I think that's the toughest thing.
It's hard for me to answer that,
Yeah.
because like that is still a struggle that, like self-hate and
Mm-mm.
self-loathing, that is something that I still struggle with every day. Like there's, like I go to therapy for it, and sometimes like yung therapist ko, she gets I wouldn't say she gets frustrated, but she struggles with it too, where it's like because sometimes when it gets to me talaga, like it's almost like I'm seeing something completely different when I look in the mirror, and I see someone who is just worthy of like of ridicule and hatred. And it's hard to unlearn that, because that is so ingrained in my childhood. And when I started like on that journey of, trying to unlearn that and trying to love myself a little more, like, it started with just taking selfies and liking what I see, you know? And I think it's different for every person, but I think they should start with um I think visuals kasi is very, very powerful
Yeah.
in either like encouraging or discouraging yourself. So I think that if I think like a good place to start, a very specific place to start. Again, it might not work for some people, but I think it's worth a try. A good place to start, maybe like put on some makeup, like make yourself feel good,
Mm.
like put on your favorite clothes and take selfies of yourself, and just
Yeah.
look at yourself and see that, hey, and like try and see, and like try and look at yourself with the lens of your with the lens of your phone or your camera, and then just like pick apart, hey, what do I like about this picture? What do I like about my features? What do I like about my body? And
The thickest, like, I think the skins of people who work in the sex industry is like completely
so
like,
thick.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my God. We have had to like galvanize ourselves, like in
Mhm.
order for
Yeah.
us to survive and flourish in an industry like this. It's like I would get messages where people say that I'm hideous, or like
Really?
yeah,
And
and then like there's also like one of the worst messages that I've ever gotten was on OnlyFans, and he was like, I subscribed, but I want a refund because I don't like the way that you look. I don't like the content that you put out. Like I was expecting you like hundreds of videos of you like fisting your ass, but I didn't get it, and I don't like it. And
yeah.
Things like that. I think sometimes what people
yeah,
forget is when people say so much negative things about you, it's really a reflection of how they feel about themselves. I really believe
yes,
that because
yes.
I mean,
And
they're just
sometimes, some people like just look more like a target than other people. And
yeah,
like sex workers look like a target to a lot of people, because we put
exactly.
ourselves
Yeah.
out there.
And because sex workers, like you see them, they're very confident, they're very sexy, and like I remember I was watching an interview, and Jim Carrey said like you look at somebody and it's either you look at them through jealousy or admiration, and I think it's just easier for people to look through the eyes of jealousy instead of admiration, and I think that's one of the issues. I guess most of us, I mean, we're all guilty of it. So
Yeah.
Yes,
mhm,
definitely.
yeah,
Like I've had my share of like just being mean to other people because I was jealous.
yeah,
Like
same
Yeah.
like
here. Yeah.
yeah, especially like for us who like grew up where the internet was like very young,
I have a
and it
question,
was
Salome. Are you happy now? Like considering that you've your family know, and then you're pursuing something that is very creative and that you enjoy, after
Mhm.
having to go through your childhood of being told that you're not the prettiest or you're not the most popular. Are you happy at this point, or is there something missing for you? Like,
um I am. I think yeah, like everything's in place for me to be happy because I love my job, even though it's a very very tough job and it takes a toll on my mental health for sure. Like I said, it's still a blessing that I am an artist by nature and that I am able to create something new for a very enthusiastic audience every day. Like
Okay,
that.
wait. Okay, before we end this, though, I have one
yeah,
question. Okay, sex work, though. Do you think it should be legalized or
you're
yes or
hitting it
no?
hard, Shari, today.
Even
I
better,
know.
I think it should be decriminalized because what legalization does is that it because what legalization means is that you kind of like have to register your business and you
Mm-hmm.
have it validated by the state for it to be considered legitimate and for it to be regulated by the state, right? That is what legalization means. What legalization does is that it drives the people who are not able to legitimize their business further underground and making their business illegal because they're not registered, right? So
Yeah.
Yes.
we should not aim for legalization. We should aim for the
Legal.
decriminalization of the sex industry because what that means is that the power structures that should be in place for sex work to be regulated to be safe for the customers and for the sex workers that will be in the hands of the sex workers themselves and like only partially to the state. I think that's what you're trying to ask, eh? Like should
Yeah.
sex
Yeah.
work be criminalized? Definitely not, because it's a job like any other. It has its risks,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it has its perks. There are people who are shitty at sex work, there are people who are exploited in sex work the same way that people are exploited in some other jobs you know
Yeah. I think the main where that question I had stemmed from is more of protection, though. I feel like it's important. I think it's a very risky job, if I'm being honest. It's
of course,
easy for people to get exploited in that job.
yes,
Um and there are a lot of things, physical and medical things that you can get from the job. And I think it's very important for safety to be involved for the
Yeah.
workers and the customers. And I think
So,
so, guys, let's go back to the lighter side of
I
things.
do have
And okay, go
my
ahead, Bea.
question. I have a question on this side because this chat show is always about modern love, finding the right partner. And what we
Mm-mm.
love about having our guests is that you can learn something. Is there something that you've learned in sex work that you can apply into having better relationships with
Yeah.
people? Whether you're going to get married to someone who's the love of your life or you're finding someone. Um, yeah, what is it that we can apply in our lives?
So
In
hard.
our I don't know. We're just curious because
Yeah, I think a nice thing too, and is maybe you've heard stories from your clients and they say that their usual issues with their significant
wives.
others, maybe they
Yeah.
vented to you. Like, what exactly do you think that people should learn from this?
That a really big thing that sex work taught me is how to be empathetic. And I feel like that is something that is something that a lot of people need a little more of, because it's important that you are sensitive to what your partner needs. And you have to like communicate very openly to what your partner needs sexually or emotionally so that you can provide that for them. But also like you also have to understand like why do they need this particular thing, like is there so you have to be like you have to take a walk in their shoes in order for you to like figure that out. And we as sex workers, we have to do that all the time. And
Yeah.
we have to approach sex and sexuality as something fluid and something that we can work on, and so in order for to keep things interesting, in order for you to keep things interesting within your own relationship, you have to be creative. And I think that that is something that people can learn from sex workers as well. So, like in order for you to be a loving partner, you have to put in work into self care as well. Because like what RuPaul said, how the hell like if you don't love yourself, how the hell you're gonna love somebody else, right? Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure you've
Yeah.
read that.
the end of this.
And
But we
Yeah.
always have takeaways. We do like giving like a one sentence lesson that we learned. So Bea, let's start with you. What's your main
Oh,
takeaway from here?
frankly, it's really exploring your sexuality. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, and I think we should talk about it more. Or else, we'll start to be like really horrible people to be other people, like that guy who asked for a refund. I'm still
Yeah,
not over him. You need therapy.
I
Come on
know.
the show.
Give me his username. I want to punch him in the face.
oh my
Shari,
god,
your
like
take.
I'm
My
glad.
Shari.
takeaway would be okay, Bea has a voice for sex work. I'll use my feet or my foot. But truthfully, I think basically my main takeaway today is Aretha Franklin, RESPECT. In every shape or form, respect yourself, respect others, respect every line of
Yeah.
work. When you respect other people, you gain understanding and you learn more things. And when
Mhm.
you respect your relationship, you want to work on yourself more. So I think
Yeah.
Gosh, we're
that's
such
my
good women. Give
guys.
yourself.
Guys,
Nagbuhat ng
Maria.
sarili puso. Like,
No,
We
hold on. I want to ask
Oh,
Salome. How about you? Do you have no?
oh
You said
yeah.
you said great already, but did you learn from something from me and Bea? Anything?
I think that
Put her
like
on the
like
spot.
what I really appreciate that I feel like other people should learn from you guys is that you guys are like really open-minded and curious. Like we may not have like the same path, like like my path as a sex worker might be different from your path as a chef and your path as a makeup artist. And
Yeah.
it might not ever cross, but it's
Unless
great.
our business, our foot, voice, and you.
Yeah.
Aphrodisiac snacks also is a business. We should
Mm,
totally sell
Oh my
aphrodisiac
god.
snacks.
yeah.
Anyways,
If you have an
we're
online shop, I'd
Yeah.
like to support it too. Like,
for
Okay.
but
Yeah.
sure.
Go
anyway,
ahead. Yeah.
but yeah, like I'm glad that even though we are from very different professions, I'm glad that you kept your mind open as to how my industry works, and that you are curious, and most importantly, yeah, you are very empathetic and you are able to understand like how I went from point A to where I am now.
That in mind. So, guys, Adios. So if you enjoyed today's episode and can't wait for next week, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click subscribe. It's right there, or is it in this side? Something like that. And stay
Mhm.
thirsty, everyone. And again, thank you, Salome. Thank you so much. It was such a great and insightful episode. I guess you learn something new every day. And Bea, I missed you last week. We do talk all the time, but I missed our long chat.
I know
So
we're
yeah. So
two
again,
peas in
thank
a
you
pod.
thank you. And Salome, please tell people how they can reach you
Yeah.
or contact
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Yes. So my username across all of the platforms where I post my porn is Salome Salvi. SALOME SALVI. So I'm Salome Salvi on OnlyFans, on Pornhub, on AVN Stars, on Chatterbait, on ManyVids, and on Is My Girl. Yes, and
Gosh,
on
that's a
Reddit as
lot.
well. Yeah, that's a
Okay.
lot of porn. So that's why I'm busy. Like I have to be active on all of these platforms. But
You're gonna
yeah, like if
master
you
your
want
art. You're gonna
to,
master your
yes.
art.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, if you like the way that I look tonight and you want to see me naked, you just type in S A
I
L O M
love
E S
that.
A L V R SALOME SALVI, and I should pop up.
Yeah.
So
Love
there you
it.
go.
Okay. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you again
Thank
next
you.
week. 9 p.m. on Wednesday. Toodles. Stay thirsty.